Welcome, podcast listeners. I am your host, Mr. Budget Pedal Chap. This is Fret Talk, episode number 43, and you are joined this week by none other than Matt Quine. Say hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Every week, man. It gets better.
Never gets old. It never gets old.
Damn right. How are you, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Had a fairly good week. How about yourself?
Yeah, wicked. All the best for just talking fret. I'm going to start off this week with what I've been up to, because this week was so fucking exciting. Just amazing. Previous Monday was Fret Talk episode 42, as you do. That was a pretty good one. I thought we all did lovely there with Mr. Andrew Ferris, the guitar geek. Little plug there for you, man. But then on the Tuesday, we kicked off our interview series, which had taken a little bit of a hiatus. And did we fucking kick it off?
It was a great interview. I listened to it yesterday at work.
Yeah.
He's a really interesting bloke.
Yeah. Not meaning to toot my own horn, but honk. Yeah, Adrian was an absolute gentleman. You hear it all through the interview. If you haven't heard the interview yet, once this is over, go directly to that one. He's such a knowledgeable chap. He used to work with explosives. He's as cool as a fucking pirate ninja hybrid. And he's just, yeah. At the start, I allude to the fact that there was some recording issues. We were troubleshooting the recording for a good hour, and he just helped me along with it, and it was cool. So absolutely, just hats off to Adrian Thorpe. And if you are after some shiny ass guitar pedals that are the most immaculately designed and built guitar pedals that you have ever seen, go check his stuff out. Unfortunately, they don't fall under my remit because Budget Pedal Chap can't stretch to that kind of dough.
Yeah, they're a little bit more than your under £100 sort of thing, but they look fantastic. I've not ever had a chance to try one, unfortunately. I don't think any of the shops I've ever been in have stocked them, and if they have, it's not a brand that I know too much about, but I certainly will be checking them out now. Some of the one that he said would turn a Strat into a Les Paul and a Les Paul into a Strat. I've got to hear that, because if that works, then
yeah,
I need that on my board.
The Team Medic, isn't it?
That's the one.
Yeah, I briefly got to try a couple of the pedals at the Birmingham Guitar Show, and honestly, that place did not do the pedals justice. It was noisy, there was lots going on, but you can tell the quality of the stuff. It is bang on. It's designed really, really kind of fastidiously and with precision. And he's an awesome guy. Like, if you're gonna be supporting a company, to support the people who run it, him and his good lady wife who was soldering in the background. They're absolutely wicked people. So yeah, I would fully suggest, and I will probably in the future be saving my budget pedal pennies, and getting me one, because you got to own a Thorpe, haven't you?
Yeah. I think I need. It's going to be my next investment. I haven't got anything definite. When Steve gets back from his Holly Bobs, I'm taking a double hot cake off him.
Indeed.
And then after that, I've got nothing planned. So I think it's get my hands probably on the Team Medic, or maybe even, I forget what his compressor's called. The
Fat General.
Heavy Fat General. That's it. I'm not a compressor guy, but I think I've come to terms with the fact that when I'm playing clean, I need a compressor.
Yeah.
So I need to try something, but I hate the sound of a CS3 or a cheap, squishy, horrible
That's the issue,
low end.
and I had exactly the same. I had a CS3 kicking around somewhere, I'm sure, and it literally did. It coloured the sound so much. It was squishy, and if it weren't squishy, it was still kind of putting a weird EQ on your tone.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely hated. The thing that turned me on to compressors was actually because I've got a Marshall Edward the compressor, which is by any stretch of the imaginations a cheap compressor, but at the subtle settings you can hardly tell it's on.
Right. Okay.
But it gives you that feel. It's got a real kind of it's a feel enhancer, a make gooder. Yeah, it does. It's hard to explain what a good compressor does. The explanation is when you turn it off, you can feel the difference.
You notice the difference, yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like I say, that's what I need. We've just added a couple of songs into the set list with the band, and that I don't even know whether one of them is a song called called My Type, and it's by a band called Saint Motel. It was on an advert. I'd never heard of the band or the song before, but I'd heard the song on advert.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it goes, but there's a lot of really clean guitar.
Yeah.
And it definitely needs a compressor, just to kind of tighten it up. And yeah, I need it for that. We've also thrown in something by Duran Duran.
Oh, nice.
Film.
Yeah, that needs squishy compressor. That does, doesn't it?
It does need squishy compressor on top of my awesome chorus, which I have to make sound less awesome because it needs to sound like 80s chorus, which is not my favourite type of chorus.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just have to play with the settings and make it not my normal chorus sound, which is fine.
Twiddle the knobs.
Yeah, got to twiddle them knobs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got to do that, and I need to get a compressor just to kind of like punch it through, because at the moment I'm basically turning my tube screamer on to try and get that extra kind of stuff, which gets you close, but I'd far rather just have a compressor for it.
Yeah, I mean, you get that EQ as well with the tube screamer.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing when you're using it as a boost. I would almost hazard to say that there is nothing better.
I'm with you there. I've never found a better boost.
But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they're one of the world's most bought pedal, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think if you're after kind of that, it's kind of not touching your tone too much, but adding a bit of squish. Yeah, a good quality compressor. Compressor is
all right, Sean Connery.
It's the Sean Connery compressor. That is. I think I might have to make one of those now. The compressor. There you go.
Sounds like a good plan.
Surely it's going beyond mean if you're taking the piss out, because he's a pensioner now as well, isn't he? Sean Connery.
So you're fine to write Nana's Fuzzbox on a thing, but writing Sean Connery's name on something is not okay.
Well, Nana's Fuzzbox it's fuzz like Nana used to make it. And if you're adding any dirty, smutty joke onto that, it's your own filthy doing.
Then call me a filthy fucker.
That I shall, probably multiple times. No, I'm just figuring, like, taking the piss out of a speech impediment is not cool. Taking the piss out of a speech impediment of a dude who is now a pensioner, double not cool. So
yeah, okay, maybe I didn't think of it like that.
But yeah, I mean, that guy was Bond, so what the fuck?
Sure, he doesn't care.
Yeah, what the fuck do I know? Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Thorpe, lovely chap, and compressors, beautiful. What else have I done this week? I don't even think I need to mention anything else, because just the interview with Adrian Thorpe was awesome. I did, however, do some kind of remote recording this week. Well, I say that it's something that I'm kind of kicking off some stuff back with my band, and I was unearthing some old recordings that I'd done like about 6 years ago, because the drummer wants to add some drum parts to them now.
Right, okay.
And I was just like finding the whole process just absolutely amazing. The fact that I can record some pretty tasty sounding demos of the guitar parts in a completely different area, probably like 20 odd miles away from where the drummer's adding his drum parts, and you can then add the singer who's another however many miles away and do it all remotely, and then it will all come together and it'll end up being a song. It's just amazing.
Yeah, the world's come a long way in a very short period of time.
It has, yeah. I mean, there's nothing like getting in a room with a bunch of people and just jamming the fuck out, and committing some of that to tape is potentially more magical. But I just figured, like, yeah, remote kind of band recording it's a strange thing, and it's how a lot of recording is done these days as well.
Yeah,
you hear bands, they're saying, "Oh yeah, I tracked my parts in my studio and just sent them off to whoever," and then yeah, like 6 months later, it's an album. It's amazing. But
yeah, it's just totally different to how they used to do it in the 60s and the 70s, isn't it?
Yeah, shitloads of cocaine.
Bit of LSD if you wanted to change it up a little bit.
That's it, yeah. Different drug for different albums. I mean, there was I think it was this classic albums that used to be on TV. Like, it used to be like on
Sky Arts.
It used to be BBC Two, but it was like kind of 2:00 in the morning, and I'm pretty sure it was one of them with Fleetwood Mac. Just how to coax some of the members. I'm not going to mention names, just out of respect, legal, hot water, the rest. But let's say one of the female singers who doesn't play keyboards would be coaxed into the studio with a giant bag of cocaine, and it would just be left on the mixer, and she would find inspiration, shall we say?
Yeah. Let's say that. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if that's how albums are made these days, but who knows? It's less of a party if you're sat there in your own living room with your guitar amp recording and a bag of cocaine, isn't it? I don't know how cocaine works, clearly.
I don't think we need to know.
Sure, yeah. But anyway, getting off the rampant drug use, we find ourselves petering onto these topics every so often.
Yeah.
Your SG, Matt. Your SG. Exciting things happening.
Okay.
Exciting things.
Yeah, so I opened it up today. I was planning on doing this earlier in the week, but didn't get a chance.
Yeah.
Opened the back up today with the intention of popping the Fletcher blends in it. And I've never, ever rewired something where the pickups can stay, the pots can stay in the guitar. The only thing I've ever rewired before was a Stratocaster. So
yeah, and they inherently come out, don't they? They're attached to a joint.
So I posted a picture on the Fret Talk podcast group and was like, do I leave the pots in? Do I take the pots out? And the guys, like you and the Guitar Geek and Chris were all like, well, you can leave them in. you can take them out if you want. And then as we were looking at them, we were going, actually, those parts are cheap rubbish.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I thought, if I rewire this now and then have to rewire this when more parts come, that's just more chance for me fucking this up.
Yeah. Something's gonna get set on fire.
Yeah, I think the best plan to do is, I'm not even going to buy individual parts. I'm just going to buy a wiring loom. I'm going to go somewhere and get a decent quality wiring loom.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that at the moment, because I've done quite a bit of overtime, I've got a bit of disposable income at the moment. So I think the best thing for me to do is get myself a decent loom, throw it in the SG, and then put the pickups in after that.
Right on. I mean, that's the way that you should do it. I've done that to plenty of guitars. I've done it where I've put the good pickups in with the cheaper electronics, and at full whack, everything, they sound pretty good. But then when you start kind of messing with the knobs, things get yeah. When you mess with knobs, things get a bit sticky. I know. It's low hanging fruit again, isn't it?
It is very low hanging fruit.
But yeah, there is a difference between having a good quality set of electronics behind it. But I was saying to you before the cast, your quality wiring loom is probably going to end up better than my Gibson now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if I could probably buy the same parts that go into the quality wiring loom for cheaper than you can buy the loom for. But
yeah, definitely. Look,
with the amount of, like, I'd use far too much solder or not enough solder, or I'd not quite solder it in exactly the right place, and then have to spend hours troubleshooting. And it's just it whilst it would be cheaper parts wise, it would take far more of my time than I would save by just buying a loom. That's the way I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think you need to do it that way, just so that you can experience how it feels for making pedals for me. Yeah, you look at the wiring diagram and you look at what you've just created and you think, yeah, that should work, and you plug it in and fuck all happens. You know, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, the problem is it will end up like my telly if I do that. You know, the one that sat in bits.
Yeah. Oh man,
and all I did there was I desoldered the bridge pickup and then decided I was going to repaint it.
Nice.
And yeah, this is where we are. 5-6 months down the line.
Shit, man, that needs to get sorted. So that's next on the list, surely.
Yeah, well, I think probably the easiest time for me to do the stripping down and painting is where I've got some time off in good weather. So I've got a week off at the start of June. So my plan is that, for anybody that doesn't know the Isle of Man, it's TT week. So I will be gigging 3 or 4 nights in race week. I've got to work, practice week, and do some gigs as well. That's going to be interesting. Like Tuesday night, finishing up at 1 a.m, then packing away, and then getting into work for 9 on the Wednesday morning is going to be interesting.
Like a fucking boss.
Is what it is. Yeah, but I think that week, if it's nice weather, there's a few days where I've got some time where I could just get out in the garden, strip the thing down, not worry about the sand, the sawdust, and all the stuff from when you're sanding it down going everywhere. It can just go in the grass and it won't bother anybody. And then I can spray on the grass and not worry about covering the kitchen table and stuff or anything like that. So that's my plan, is first week in June, that's when that guitar is getting it all well and good.
That's as set in stone as my learning Black Rose by the end of the year. That's an official plan, that is. And just
it is.
For those who are interested, not well is the answer to that question. It turns out Gary Moore was very good at guitar. Who knew?
No.
Really? I did. This week, actually, because I'm working up to Black Rose, there's a plan, kind of, very vaguely. And this week, I had a crack at the intro to Strange Kind of Woman by Deep Purple. I posted some stuff over the weekend of me doing it on the Variax, which is fast becoming a favourite guitar of mine, believe it or not. Sounds bloody good, and it plays well as well. But yeah, I actually got some tabs up for that, and for the most part learnt it. I haven't got it to where I can do it the first time every time, so I'm not going to be joining a Deep Purple tribute act just yet. But that intro it's got a weird. It's like a bend on the top string, followed by the same fret but on the string below. So you have to do it like bend and then roll onto the next string in very quick succession. Fuck me. Richie Blackmore, he was good as well.
He could play.
Yeah. That's my problem. I'm choosing to pick songs from people who could play the guitar a lot better than I can. I should just try easy things.
Yeah, like I say, get yourself in an indie covers band. It's really easy. I say it's really easy. It's actually not as easy as I thought it was. Like when I first joined the band I was in now, it's like, it's all going to be simple stuff. And there is stuff that has pushed me.
Yeah.
And then we started doing other bits and bobs. So like we've gone into 80s and, we've gone into 70s and 60s stuff as well. So there is stuff that pushes my ability. But there is also stuff where I play 4 or 5 chords and like a 3 notes a minute bloody melody line that's just simple. And it's good fun.
Swings and around a bit. I picked up a guitar and tried learning Just the Way You Are by Billy Joel this week, because that's a massive tune. I don't care who knows it. I really think Billy Joel was a fantastic songwriter, and it has a B minor 6 in it. I hate 6 chords. I really hate 6 chords.
Wait, B minor 6?
Yeah. There's an easy way of doing it and there's a harder way of doing it.
I mean, play it the easy way, do a B minor chord, and then just drop your little finger down onto the E below your ring finger.
And that's a 5th.
That's a 6th.
No? 5th?
B minor chord.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you drop your little finger onto the high E underneath your ring finger, and that becomes a B minor 6.
Is it? Hang on, let me figure it out. Yeah, it will be. No, there's a nicer voicing than that. I'm not for this cheating. Yeah, stuff. Cheating. I'm after the 6 needs to be kind of nestled within, and there's a reason for it. It sounds different and it sounds more Billy Joel that way. How rock and roll am I learning Billy Joel tunes? Oh my. Yeah, I got it though. It's fine. I haven't learnt the sax solo.
Why not?
Yeah, I find it hard while I'm playing the guitar. I can't quite sax. But yeah, so Billy Joel tunes are wicked. Deep Purple tunes are wicked. Deep Purple tunes considerably harder to learn the lead lines to.
Yeah.
But that's not the only thing you've done this week, is it, Matt?
Well, yeah.
Go on.
I'll actually something that I forgot to mention before the cast, and I'm going to go back to Sunday this week. I was in Nuneaton on Saturday watching some football, and then had to get. I was getting a boat home from Liverpool on the Sunday, and I had about 4 hours to kill in Liverpool, and I went to Dawson's Music.
Wicked! Yeah.
The big music store in there, and I had about an hour and 3/4 where it was.
I had an erection.
Just me. It was pretty much just me and the staff in the store. Yep. It was just Sunday afternoon. It's not one of their busy times.
Yeah.
And I played 6 tellies, 7 tellies.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Just to and I didn't play anything with humbuckers. I played proper tellies with a proper telly single coil and a telly bridge single and a telly neck single coil in the proper manner. And I played a Squier Vin Mod, a Squier Classic Vibe 50s. I played 3 different Mexican tellies that all had 3 different price points, and the only thing that was different between them was the colour, but the Sunburst was the cheapest. Which makes no sense to me. Why is the Sunburst cheaper than the white one, which was cheaper than the blue one?
It's printed on the Sunburst. Yeah, they've got a giant laser printer.
Yeah, so I played them, and then I played the American Elite as well, just to get a nice range. The Mexican ones have the wrong saddles. They just have normal stainless steel saddles.
The six, yes.
The six, and it just doesn't sound right. No matter what they did, and it was the same with the Squire Vin mod. It had the same bridge, and it just doesn't sound like a telly. The Squire Classic Vibe was my favourite out of the lot of them. It wasn't quite as good as the American Elite, but it had the brass saddles, it had that sound, and it certainly wasn't £1,000 less of a guitar than the American Elite was.
Oh yeah, completely.
And I kind of think that's possibly going to be my next guitar. It's going to be a classic vibe. A Squire Classic Vibe, probably a 50s. Although I'm normally a rosewood board person, I really enjoyed the maple. It played really. I don't know whether I just got a really good example of it, but it played really well.
Yeah, no.
And I played the American Elite as well, but it didn't blow me out of the water compared to the other guitars that I played.
Yeah, I actually owned one of the 50s Classic Vibes for a short period of time, and it played great. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. The one that I had said, the guy replaced the nut with a brass nut, which meant that it wasn't quite a stable tuning. And I think the bridge saddles were brass as well, whereas aren't they usually... They're brass, but they're not compensated, aren't they?
They're brass, they're not compensated, and they're also not brass coloured. So they've got a chrome finish on them, which is weird, because the guys in the store were like, no, they are brass. Yeah. They've just got a chrome coating on them or something, which to me just... Yeah. Why not just leave them brass?
It's stealth brass, that is, yeah.
Yeah, it was. They looked weird. They sounded great, but they're not compensated. So yeah, that's something I would probably do. I'd just replace them for compensated saddles.
Yeah.
And Wilkinsons.
You pick them up. I mean, you can pick up the individual saddles, and they cost like a couple of quid.
Pennies. Yeah.
So yeah, you're sorted then. Yeah. I mean, I've been saying that for such a long time actually, that in terms of like the quality versus price, the Squire Classic Vibe dominates everything kind of upwards of that price point. So the Mexican stuff I wouldn't rate as good as the Classic Vibe.
No, the Mexican stuff was between 100 and 250 quid more expensive than the Classic Vibe, and not one of them played as well as Classic Vibe did.
Yeah.
Not one.
But even with the setup as well, they don't tend to sound as good as the Classic Vibe. The Classic Vibe has got a fantastic set of pickups in them.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference, doesn't it?
It does, and they've got great pickups, and they just have that telly sound to them because of those saddles.
Yeah.
Because they're not those just 6 stainless steel inline ones.
Yeah, definitely. They're quite bright, aren't they? They're quite zingy. And that doesn't usually float my boat, but the neck pickup was so good that I ended up switching the neck pickup of my telly thin line out for the same pickup, because they sounded great. Yeah.
I'm not normally a single coil person, as I keep saying, but I'm learning or teaching myself to use the tone control to keep the brightness under control whilst playing I was playing through a Fender Hot Rod. What's the one up from the Blues Juniors? A Hot Rod Deluxe?
Yeah, you got that. Yeah, Hot Rod Deluxe, yeah.
Hot Rod Deluxe. Which, surprisingly, considering I'm not a Fender amp kind of person, I really like the sound of the single coils through that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of eye-opening that maybe either my tastes are changing, or I'm learning that actually my taste wasn't what I thought it was, and I don't have to have everything this muddy humbuckery sound. I can get along with a single coil as well.
Yeah, I had that epiphany a while ago, and for maybe like 2 years, I stopped using humbuckers pretty much. I was very much a Strat guy through and through, and then I went onto tellies, and I've mentioned on here, I own about 7 of them now, 7 or 8, I don't know, but yeah, there's a certain charm. It's still got a mid-range kind of focus to it. I'm not saying it's like a humbucker, because it's not, but that focus almost reminds me of a humbucker in a certain way, more so than a Strat, because it's got a very scooped mid-range. But then you get the focus and the clarity. I love them.
Yeah. No, totally agreed. And then we'll move on to Monday, where I went and tried the amp that I was talking about.
Yeah, you did.
Last week. So it's a Hughes and Kettner Pathfinder Pacemaker. It's neither of those words. Pure Tone, that's it. Hughes and Kettner Pure Tone. And my God, is that thing loud? That, like, 25 watt 1x12 with a V30 thing, but it's hand wired, and like, trying it, we couldn't get it quiet enough to play it in this guy. So the person I was buying it off, the band have bought our subs from this fella. I know his wife. I used to hang around with her at school, or when we were school age. We went to different schools, but we knew each other through mutual friends. So I know the fellow and his wife, and we were in a semi-detached house, but it was still too loud to play it in a semi-detached house. It's just raucous as hell. But I also happen to not realise I know the next door neighbour. I happen to work with him at work, because that's how the Isle of Man works. There's only 80,000 of us. You probably know half the people in the estate. And I said, look, do you mind if we turn this thing up for 15 minutes? And he was like, that's fine. We've not got anything on. We're actually just sat eating dinner. We don't mind if there's a little bit of noise in the background. The neighbours on the other side were out. So I turned it up to gig volume just to see. And I took along my Cabronita and my pedal board and spent 15 minutes going through sounds. And boy, does that thing sound good. Like, I went into it thinking, it'll be all right for home use because it's only a 112. I don't care that it's not going to be all right for home use. I've got other things that I can use at home. This thing it's got a slightly different focus in the EQ than the Vox does.
Yeah,
but it's just the way I'd use it is there's a 3-band EQ, and then there's a growl control, which is it's basically like a really light gain stage. Like if you whack the growl up, it overrides the volume and the and the EQ, and you just basically get AC/DC style, really low gain but gritty kind of loudness. But because that eliminates the EQ, I think I'd leave that off, and I'd just use the volume and the EQ. But the EQ is so responsive. I've never played an amp where just a tiny tweak to the EQ seems to do so much. It's going to take me a while, because I'm used to literally just
extremes.
And extremes and stuff. So it's going to take me time to get my sound out of it.
Yeah.
But and I just kind of ended up playing for like 35 minutes, in which time we got the knock on the door and said, actually, do you mind if you just turn it down a little bit? But
it's been an hour now, and you haven't stopped.
Yeah,
I think just our listeners will hear me giggling over the top of that, and I think they know why. I think they know.
And I think possibly one of the controls on the amp.
Indeed, bass. It always makes me laugh. Bass.
Yeah,
fucking growl, man.
And the amp comes with, it's come with a flight case on wheels, which is just the best thing you can ask for. Surprisingly, for a 112, because it's hand wired, it's quite heavy, but it's nowhere near as heavy as my Vox AC15 still. And the fact that it's on flight case means that it will be good for the smaller. So the other thing that I thought it'd be good for was smaller gigs where it's a pain in the ass to drag the Vox in and out, and I ended up having there's certain gigs over here where I have to sit it half on a bench seat and half on a box because it's too big to go in the corner. So at least now I've got this that's a 112 that's slightly smaller, so that it'll fit better into smaller venues and stuff. And and I'm already kind of I've bought some more patch cables so that I can rewire my board for stereo for TT.
Shit, man.
Yeah, I'm already I've passed the planning stages of that. I've actually bought some Van Damme cables because they were on offer from somebody.
I wonder what that guy did after the 80s movies. So, yeah. He makes patch cables. Lucrative.
Yeah. So I've kind of almost got the rewiring my board to do, but I can't do it because I set up earlier on this evening. I set up all my gear at a venue for a wedding tomorrow, so it'll have to wait. Next week's going to be my only opportunity because next weekend is the only weekend I haven't got a gig now until the middle of June. So
you did say last week when you were bragging to us on this big shop musician now, guys.
Yeah. So next weekend is the only weekend I've got free from gigs until third weekend in June, I think. And we've got weekends. Oh, and like I say, in that time we've got TT where I've got 5 in 9 days, which will be awesome.
Yeah.
But so I've planned a rewire of the pedal board. I've planned this amp kind of. Bearing in mind, I didn't even plan on. Wasn't even looking for it. I wasn't even looking for it. It just popped up in my newsfeed on the Facebook. It was like, this is in your local classified buy and sell page, and I'm like, stop selling me things that I don't need. But it's amazing. I love it.
We're going back to Billy Joel. Oh no, we're not. Sorry. This is Carly Simon. That is. I wasn't looking, but baby, I found you.
But I've kind of fallen in love. And as I said last week, the deal in my head was that if I bought this, I'd need to off-sell one of my 4 amps that 3 of them don't get used. So the Marshall
no, you didn't.
So the Marshall Lead 12 has gone to Moog to somewhat appease him for stealing his SG.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, it's making part on reparations, isn't it, there?
Yeah.
It's always good keeping a Moog happy.
It is. And just for those of you that... I don't know whether Moog put it in the closed group or the podcast group, but he reckons that the Lead 12 that I had might have originally been his. So he had one in the past, and he sold it to somebody in Brighton. Then a store in Brighton posted the Lead 12 up. The Guitar Geek tried to buy it and ship it to Austria, and it never made it to Austria, and the shop wouldn't try it again. So I then bought it and got it shipped to the Isle of Man, and now it's gone back to Brighton. And he said there's a chance that it's his old one, which would be... I hope it is, because it making its way back to him after all that time, after all those journeys, would just be incredible. Yeah,
it would be, yeah. Just having found his old love. I mean, he was saying how he had just mad nostalgia for it, and now he's got it back. I've got an old Epiphone. Well, I had an old Epiphone, sorry. That I hope one day that I'll see that again. I'm sure I'd buy the shit out of that again.
And I'm pretty sure at some point I'll regret selling this Lead 12 because it did sound good, and it's the best thing that I've ever had for home use ever.
Yeah.
But I don't play enough at home to warrant having something that's only for home use. I play far too many gigs, and really these days the only time, certainly since Christmas, the only time I've had to play the guitar is gigs because I have to book time in because I'm so busy at the moment.
All right, Mr. Big Shot. Stop rubbing it on all our faces now.
To be fair, most of what I have that's busy is work, so yeah, it's not as fun as it sounds.
The only time I have to play guitar when I'm doing my Big Shot gigs.
Just you wait until June when I tell you I've been playing in front of 4,500 people.
That's it. I'll be calling you up and go, Matt, when can we podcast? And you're like, I can't do it this month, mate, because just living the life of a rock and roll star.
Yep, damn right.
So you're going to have to put Jukebox Hero in your set by Foreigner. What's the other one? What's the one by Bad Company? Shooting Star. You should have that one in as well. That's a wicked tune. Just get all of these, yeah. Bryan Adams, Summer of '69 as well. Got my first real 60.
No. To be fair, I'd do it, but some of the other guys in the band wouldn't.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with Bryan Adams. No wrong with him.
I don't mind.
I mean, he's Canadian, but you can't hold that against him, can you? It weren't his choice. There's a bit of big news. I mean, we've prattled on for a fucking long time this episode, considering we weren't supposed to. It was supposed to be like a nice, simple intro. We've ended up talking the majority of the podcast. Something pretty fucking big's happened this week, hasn't it, Matt?
Yeah.
Nita Strauss has done another WrestleMania intro. No, she hasn't. No. We still need to share that on the group.
G. Oh God,
the Big G.
Need to share it.
Gonorrhea. I haven't got it. I don't think anyway.
I don't either, as far as I'm aware.
Good. Well, that's Fret Talk podcast, clean of gonorrhea since the year dot.
Right, I will try my best to share the me dressed as Nita Strauss in the group, especially if hair is going soon as well, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show.
Wicked, yeah, and we'll hopefully get some money raised for that.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to talk about Gibson, aren't we?
Gibson. So what's going on with Gibson this week? I've got a good feeling about him. We haven't heard from him for a good while. Are things on the up, Matt?
Yes, and I know a lot of people will have looked at this week's news and gone, oh my God, it's the end of Gibson. Oh my God, everything is ruined. Oh my God. And that's all I've seen from the internet, apart from the infuriating memes that we'll get on
the fucking memes. Right, so as a basic, for those who haven't picked up on this, and if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have, but go on,
So what Gibson have done, and please bear in mind that do not read an article's headline and take from that the entire story, because most of the articles that we saw last week said Gibson filed for bankruptcy under Chapter 11. That's not right. Gibson have not filed for bankruptcy. Gibson have filed for bankruptcy protection. Totally different thing. What they're doing is they're saying the guitar division of Gibson, which we've, as I've been saying for the last few weeks, is highly profitable, that it's not got the issues that the rest of it has. The guitar division of Gibson is protected so that whilst they're going through a restructuring plan, as long as a judge agrees to the protection, which I believe the hearing is next month, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a hearing either later this month or next month where they will go in and a judge will make a decision. But basically it will protect the guitar division so that creditors or debtors from the other divisions can't come in and take profits away from the guitar division at all. So the guitar division is therefore safe, and it can it's protected from anybody. They can't take any profits from that. That can then move on, and even if the rest of the company has to liquidate or they have to sell off and close down all the other divisions, the guitar division will be safe, and it will be there as we know it today.
I mean, that seems like the most sensible business move that we've heard from Gibson in a long time.
Yeah.
But as you said, the pretty much all of the news articles were saying Gibson file for bankruptcy, and
it was infuriating.
It was all sensationalism, wasn't it? It was all it was selling a headline.
Yeah, it was bad clickbaity nonsense, and
it was.
It led to a lot of confusion. You had a lot of people going, "Is this the end for Gibson?" And if you read the article, you would know it's not the end for Gibson. It's literally the opposite of the end for Gibson. It's making it so that there cannot be an end for Gibson guitars in the short term.
Yeah, it's trying to ensure Gibson against the changes which are going to happen in the kind of the company wide, because they're not just a guitar company anymore. They took on consumer electronics quite a lot, and other kind of subsects of Gibson to try and get this lifestyle brand, and it didn't work. It didn't.
Well, it basically, as a lot of people have been saying, what happened was a guitar company went, right, well, we want to make anything that makes noise, so we'll do headphones, we'll do speakers, we'll do monitors, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll buy this brand because they make that stuff, and we'll buy this brand because they make that stuff, buy this brand because they do this and they do that, and it was just kind of like a without thinking, they just went off and tried to go into markets that they know absolutely nothing about. Like there are 5 or 6 big guitar manufacturers. There's 3,000 headphone manufacturers that make good quality headphones. You're not going to get Gibson going, right, I know exactly what we need in a headphone, because they're just not going to. They don't have that market research. They don't have the knowledge and the history. And it's all well and good going and buying Philips Audio, but if you then get rid of their board of directors and everybody who's been involved with that previously, you lose all of the knowledge at all, and suddenly you've got a company that you don't know what you're doing with.
Yes, yeah. And I assume Gibson were hoping that their brand would have as much clout in those markets as it does in the guitar market.
And it was never going to happen. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what they did.
Yeah, they just assumed that because they are. I mean, Gibson are a company that even if you're not a guitarist, you will have heard of Gibson guitars because they are synonymous with rock and roll music and rock and roll. Who the fuck am I? But but yeah, they're synonymous with kind of guitar based music, so rock, metal, and all these subsets of basically heavier music.
Yeah,
there is probably going to be a Gibson guitar behind it at some point. So it means that they, much like Fender, they kind of transcend that kind of niche, but they were banking on that too much.
Yeah,
and that people have heard of this, so they're obviously going to see us as a quality product and want to stick more than they would for Sennheiser's alternative or whatnot.
And they're not the only ones to have done this. Do you remember 2 years ago the Marshall phone?
The thing that everyone tried to forget.
Yeah, so they're not the only ones that have done this. I mean, Marshall have got their own headphones that, you know, again, so they've tried to go down this route, and it's. I mean, look at what Marshall have released. I know this year they brought the Origin out and they've started listening to people, but
within the same breath, there is the Marshall fridge.
Yeah, so. and there you go. I mean, and that's what's happened. What happened to Gibson, only on a bigger scale, because Gibson is a bigger company than Marshall, and they just went far too far and they fell down this rabbit hole. And their guitar division probably isn't doing as well as it could do, but it's doing a lot better than all the other things. And all this bankruptcy protection does is allow them to restructure the company, get rid of the dead wood, and the other thing that they have to do is they will have to change management by the time that this is done. So the CEO,
win-win then, isn't it, for those
Harry
guys?
Juskovic, is that his name? Something like that.
Henry, I think. Yeah.
Henry. Well, he will have to oversee this transition and everything that they're going through at the moment, but he will not be able to be the head of Gibson Guitars when they've come out of this. And that's
Maybe
probably
they'll have
a
a
good
job
thing.
on the production for him.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he and I don't think they're legally required to fire him, so they could just make him, sit down there and polish the guitars after it comes off the line. But I doubt they will.
It would be a nice kind of irony, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, a lot of criticism for Gibson guitars seem to be pointed at some of the silly comments that this chap makes, and some of the silly decisions that he seems to be the poster child for.
And he did make some silly comments. Was it about a month ago? He just blamed stores instead of himself, and a few other things, and he tried to shift the blame, and it was silly. But I think this is actually the best piece of news that we've had about Gibson, probably since we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we have shat upon Gibson quite a lot on this podcast.
But the other thing, it was just kind of reported like we said, it was reported in the wrong way, and people have they've read headlines and not looked into what's actually going on. And I think that's been the big problem with the news. Yeah,
well, it's people on the internet, isn't it? They don't have the time or don't have the inclination to read the article, and they just kind of fall for the bait, don't they? But that's what we're here for, bringing you the actual news. And this time we did a little bit of research as well. So I mean, that goes beyond what we usually do. So it shows we care. Shows we care about Gibson. And
we've been positive about the move as well. We're not shitting on Gibson.
No, not at all. I mean, like we have. I mean, we've had periods of time where we've shat on Gibson, and then we've had periods of time where we feel sorry for the fact that we've shat on Gibson, and then kind of get all gushy about Gibson. We go through cycles.
We do.
I think this is probably we're in the gushy period at the moment.
We certainly are.
Oh dear God, gushy period. Poor choice of words.
You can say that on the internet, can you?
Poor choice of words. Right, so that's essentially what's going on with Gibson these days. The big G. Eastwood guitars, almost as big as Gibson.
In that they're not.
Yeah, well, they're not at all, are they? But they released an article this week, kind of explaining the situation. And this is going to be hugely paraphrased, and it's. I read the article once. I did read the article, so yeah.
Good,
again, research. But essentially, they kind of gave a timeline of what happened and led up to these series of events. And like we've kind of touched upon, it was expanded into lifestyle brands. But I'll see what I've got on my notes. So kind of mid-90s, big guitar chains in America, mainly being Guitar Center, set out on a crusade to kind of be the number one provider of guitars and guitar-based stuff. And so started like building more and more stores to kind of try and get rid of the mom and pop guitar and music shops, and largely were successful in doing so. They are synonymous with guitars over in America, much to the dismay of people these days, because apparently they're not great stores. But yeah, they started expanding, and because they were building more and more stores, they needed more and more guitars to stock them. So call on Fender, call on Gibson to start providing with more guitars. They see this expansion, and Gibson decided to take it in a direction that they probably shouldn't have. That they decided to go for the lifestyle brand, and it fed back into like a greed loop, where the guitar centers were expanding. The guitar companies didn't have a great foresight, but then Gibson expanded in the wrong way. And the expansions that they did do weren't hugely profitable. And as of recent years, the price increases are to try and kind of cover the losses that Gibson are having in other areas, which makes sense. So I thought it was a really interesting article. To kind of look at the timeline of what happened, and that it was kind of greed focused, and short-sightedness more than anything.
Yeah.
But hey, like we say, Gibson are trying to make things right now, and I don't think a company like Gibson, who are so knitted into the history of guitar, are ever gonna go down without a huge fight.
No chance. And the other thing to take from this, like we've both reiterated, like your article said it, and from what I've said, GeForce tuners, nothing to do with it. Guitar Division, nothing to do with it. It's absolutely nothing to do with it. Stop saying that Gibson have shot themselves in the foot with the 2015 range and everything. You're just wrong. Stop saying it and just look at the facts. Don't look at your opinion. Look at the facts. And the facts are Guitar Division is profitable. It's the rest of the stuff that's caused the issue.
I mean, I will caveat that with the 2015 range were not infallible. There were definitely some faux pas made there. The GeForce tuners were not infallible, and there were definitely fault there.
There was, but it wasn't an unprofitable year for them.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So there is that. What thing did come out of this whole situation, as Matt mentioned earlier, is that we couldn't go on Facebook for pretty much the whole of Tuesday of last week, because the same meme kept being shared. And if you've logged onto the internet and you have any interest in guitar forums, you will have seen this.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone shared it in our group.
Thank God.
To be honest, the first time I saw it, it was quite funny. So this is Nigel Tufnell, Spinal Tap, picture of him with his Les Paul and saying, "This one goes up to chapter 11." And
it was funny the first time.
Yeah, we would legitimately be laughing if that was like the second or third time we'd heard that.
Yep. Unfortunately, I saw 3 or 4 photos of him and the same wording. And I also saw the same photo with different fonts with the same wording.
Yeah.
But that was it. It was just the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And Jesus Christ. And it was like, there were guitar forums that I'm part of that 8 posts in a row was the same fucking photo. Just stop it. Just piss off. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Me and Matt were talking about this just before the cast. And it was getting bad with the PRS debacle.
John Mayer,
the John Mayer Silver Surfer or whatever it's fucking called. Basically, the PRS strat. But we said at least with that the memes were all different.
Yeah.
And even then, we wanted to turn our Facebooks off for a couple of hours just to have a break from it. But it was the same meme. For me, I didn't even get the different pictures. I got the same picture, the same wording. It was just the same thing being shared over and over and over and over again.
You just wanted to shoot yourself in the face to make it stop.
Exactly. But there was one thing that made us look, and it was a hoax thing, and it fooled us And if you don't, if you're one of these people who say that you didn't at least wonder, then you are lying to yourself.
Yep.
Some crafty beggars, instead of sharing the meme, they pulled open Photoshop and created a hoax where Joe Bonamassa was going to buy Gibson, or was in talks to buying Gibson, which, I mean, we should have seen from the spelling mistakes. And
bankruptcy with no T.
Yeah, bankruptcy. Yeah, and there was iconical.
Yeah,
I think the word iconical. They called Joe Bonamassa iconical guitarist. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like you say, late at night. I think this was Tuesday night when I saw it. It might have been Wednesday night. I can't remember. It was one evening this week, and I had a long day, and you're not thinking straight. And somebody posts that, and you don't even you just think, oh, somebody's found this photo. You don't think, oh, somebody's photoshopped this rubbish. You don't think the backstory into it. You don't have a think in your head and realise that Joe Bonamassa isn't worth $500 million, which is less than half of Gibson's overall debt. So why would he look at buying Gibson as they are, let alone looking at anything else? You don't think of any of those things. You just think Joe Bonamassa is a guitarist and Gibson make guitars. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. He's a man with lots of money. He charges a lot for his tickets to his concerts. Surely this adds up. I mean, there was some Joe Bonamassa news this week, and I've purposely left it out of this episode because I don't want to talk about Joe Bonamassa anymore.
I'm with you there.
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a few things. There's quite a few things that make me not want to talk about him. One of which being the fact that someone shared the quoted price for a ticket to one of his shows, and it was like cresting hundreds of pounds, I think.
Yeah, I think it was £375 for a standard seat.
Yeah, and I am a Joe Bonamassa fan. I listen to his music. I know it's not the most popular opinion. Some people criticise him for recycling Eric Johnson licks and whatnot. I don't care. Some of his music is absolutely fantastic. I've been to see him a fair few times. The last time I went to see him, I think it cost about £60 a ticket, and at that point I was wincing a little bit.
Yeah.
It's only gone up.
Yeah.
So yeah, by me saying that I didn't want to talk about Joe Bonamassa, we've just had a little chat about Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah, let's just leave it there and say it is what it is. But don't fall for the hoax.
Yeah, definitely. So that was the week in Gibson. That was. We're gonna move on to a question, and I think we were only going to do the one because we have we've luxuriated in our own affairs this week somewhat.
Yeah.
So, you raised a pretty interesting point. So what brought up this this kind of question thing, thought musing this week?
Yeah. So basically, following the Gibson talk, somebody posted in our closed group that they didn't care what happened as long as they could still buy a Firebird when they could afford it. And Ollie then said, I hope you're taller than I am because I really struggle with my Firebird because it's the biggest guitar in the world. And a couple of the other guys were saying, look, as shorter people, we struggle to play certain instruments because you just can't reach because just the way it sits on you. In the past, I've also when I went back down to Steve's for the first time last February, there was a big talk about it where they were saying, look, if an amp is too heavy, like an AC30 for instance, they wouldn't even consider buying it whether or not it sounds good because they just couldn't move it around. And
yeah, definitely.
I never ever thought of anything like that. Look, I'm lucky in the fact that I'm a fairly tall, fairly stocky guy. I've got giant hands. I've got fairly long arms for my size as well. I could comfortably play a long scale bass and not have issues reaching the nuts. So I don't have those kind of issues. But I was thinking about things that do hinder me, and obviously because I'm a chunky guy, guitars don't sit the way they do on normal people. So if you sit a guitar on the front of you, or most people sit a guitar on the front of them, they sit flat in front of them. Whereas if I let go of the guitar, it rolls round and sits on my right hip and points out at a 45-degree angle because I've got a gut. And that's just the way it is. And, I can move the guitar around, but it just means that my right arm, instead of being against my body, is out a bit further. And like it would be for a normal person playing over the top of a Gretsch or something, a big hollow body, my arm kind of has to move out that kind of way. And I was just thinking, like, is there anything that you've got that physically puts you off from buying certain guitars, that you might love the sound of it, you might love the shape of it, you might love the colour, the neck might feel right, but there's something that puts you off either playing a guitar or an amp, and it's not something there was a few of the guys who were talking about it, and it's not something that I've ever thought of before.
Yeah, kind of the ergonomics behind purchases. I'm going to start off with my most recent kind of trade. So I was a big advocate of the Blackstar H240, and I still stand by it and say that it's an absolutely fantastic pedal platform, and it is versatile as balls. It's got the two overdrive kind of voicings. It's got enough gain on tap to do whatever the hell you want to do with it, and it's got the ISF for like just instant and infinite tweakability, pretty much.
Yeah.
So in terms of it being a useful amp, then everything that I needed in an amp, it completely did it. Part of the issue was that I only ever used it as a clean platform, and that meant that I would use 3 of the knobs on the amp.
Yeah. Because the other, like 7.
Yeah, well, I'd turn reverb off as well, which I know is it's a contentious point.
I mean, that's because you've got so many reverbs on your board that you don't need the one on the amp, right?
It's exactly that. I do actually have a reverb pedal. It sounds all right. I've found myself actually liking spring reverb, and that's a tricky reverb to get along with. I'm told.
Yes, it is.
However, beside the point. So, I mean, that was part of the reason, but the other part of the reason was that to lug that amp to and from rehearsal, I'd have to like drag it up a set of stairs, and it's a large amp. It's a 112, but it's quite an oversized cabinet for the speaker, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
It was a heavy amp. It wasn't that I couldn't do it, but it meant that carrying other things with it, so carrying a guitar and a pedal board and whatnot, it was just too cumbersome to consider.
Yeah.
And the AC, the Classic 30, is a smaller, lighter, more compact amp, and it allows for me to carry all those other things that I need to. So it made sense to do that trade for me. Another thing that gets me, as I've mentioned, week on week, I have like an RSI kind of wrist complaint, tendonitis, that kind of thing with my wrists. If I don't set the guitars up completely perfectly, and if the guitar has got a thicker than your kind of modern kind of C neck, I have to be really careful. I've got a few chunky neck guitars, and I can only play them for a certain amount of time before the playing starts becoming a little bit more painful. So that is something that I definitely need to watch out for. fortunately, at the moment, I don't have to worry about the gut thing as much. So, big-bodied guitars I can deal with. Odd-shaped guitars as well. I think the oddest shape guitar that I've got at the moment is the Ibanez Fireman, and playing high up on that neck. And I don't know what it is. I think it might just be the angle at which your hand sits. I find myself making more errors on that than I do other things, and I don't know why. But each and every one of my guitars I love, and
like I say, I'm fairly lucky in the fact that there's not much out there that I have an issue with playing. I can play badly set up guitars. I do have an issue with my left wrist, but it's nothing to do with the way guitars are set up. Certain days, there's 3 little bones that sit between your radius and ulnar and your metacarpals in your hand. There's 3 little bones that set your wrist off, and I crushed them all, twisted my wrist on crutches one time. And there's a fragment of bone in there that moves every so often and just digs into a tendon. And if it's moved overnight and dug into that tendon, that just means I can't play the guitar that day. I've looked out, and it's never, touch wood, happened on a gig day yet. But I've had consecutive days where I can't use my left hand at all. Basically, I've got the grip in the hand goes. The movement in the wrist, instead of having full range of movement, I've got a very tiny range of movement. It makes changing gear in the car difficult.
Shit, man. So if
I don't have any issues.
Yeah,
I don't have that issue very often, but it's something that I don't have to deal with. It's not caused by the guitars themselves.
Yeah,
I think the only thing I would say I do have is I can never ever get on with a proper V neck, the pointier Vs, not the soft V. Whatever that is, it feels really uncomfortable in my hand, and I just make mistakes because whatever it is, it doesn't feel right. And whether it's in my head or whether it's something that my hand it normally does with a C neck or a soft V or with a chunkier neck, I don't know. It just with a proper pointy V neck, I make more mistakes than anything. It's really weird, and I don't know why.
I think legally I'm duty bound to point out the pointy V, aren't I? I'll leave it to you guys. I've done it enough times for you to, you know where this is going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. V-necks are an oddball choice these days as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you've ever tried one of these, yes, they do. If you ever tried one of those Strandbergs, they've got a really weird neck profile.
Yeah, you mentioned trapezoid. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's crazy. I think we're gonna wrap it there for this week. But you've got some plugging to do, haven't you?
I have. So it actually goes quite well with the Nita Strauss video that I'm going to share in the group following this, because that'll show you that my hair is about 3 foot long at this point. I've got rather long hair. I have a beard. I've not been clean shaven in 6 years. And whilst drunk at my Christmas party for work this year, I agreed that at some point in 2018 I would donate some of my hair to the Princess Trust, so that they could turn it into a wig for children with cancer. And it just seemed like something that it's good for
a very noble act, isn't it? Yeah.
And whilst doing that, I just thought, well, I might as well go the whole hog, and I'm going to shave my head for charity. So I'm going to go right the way down to a number 1. And I'm also going to get rid of all of my facial hair. I'm going to go clean shaven for the first time. I'm saying 6 years. It might even be longer. I'm basically going skinhead, clean shaven. And
going to look like a fucking egg.
I am going to look like an egg.
Brilliant.
And I've not had a number 1 ever. I used to sometimes get a number 2 when I was a teenager. The last time I did it, I was 15. I'm now 26. So we're talking 11 years since I had a buzz cut, and I'm going for a buzz cut on the 23rd of May. And all of the proceeds from any donations that I get are going to Hospice Care Isle of Man, which is, I mean, hospice is something that's kind of, it will touch everybody at some time in your life. You will know either somebody that you are related to, or somebody that ends up in hospice care. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it should be provided by the government. But I think the problem that hospices have is they are such a good entity at trying to get themselves out there, and everybody believes in it so much that they're a charity that can run itself. And sometimes that's not the best thing in the world, because it means that they will never get government support, because the governments know that care will be provided one way or another, so they don't have to worry about it. So I've got a Just Giving page. It's justgiving.com/fundraising/Matt-Quine. If it's not fundraising in there, literally just type in justgiving.com/Matt-Quine. So that's MATT-QUINE. And that will take you to the page as well. It might have an extra word in there, but if you just do justgiving.com/Matt-Quine, that will get you there. And all of those proceeds. My goal is to reach 250 quid. I think I might have to change that, because I think I'm already at 70, and I opened the Just Giving page today. And I've kind of stupidly put in there that if we doubled the goal, I would get my chest waxed or my legs waxed as well. So yeah, I that's in there now, and it's in writing. So if we hit 500, I will either get my chest or legs waxed, or I might even do both.
You'll be like an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah, but yeah. So, like I say, it's all for a good cause, and if there's no obligation for anybody to donate, I don't expect any donations to come in this way. I just thought I'd mention that, I'm doing something for a good cause, and if you do have the capacity to donate, even if it's just a couple of quid, everything helps, especially with hospice care. Like I say, it will touch you in your life at some point, and whilst this is the local hospice Isle of Man, they work in conjunction with hospice in the UK and all the different regions, and it's just something that I think everybody needs to think about at some point in their life.
Yeah, definitely. And which is why I was so keen for you to share it on here. And I think we will share the Just Giving in our group. I know you're saying that there's no obligation. And of course, we're not suggesting that there ever should be. But if you do feel so inclined, we're going to make it abundantly clear for you where you need to go. And I'm pretty sure I'll be giving a few more quid than a couple of quid to that, because it's a noble cause, and we're getting Matt to look like an egg. So
yeah, and that's the thing. There'll be before and after photos. There's going to probably be a live video stream of me getting my head shaved that will go out on the Hospice Isle of Man Facebook page. So once that's done, I can then share that in the group, so you can watch the travesty unfold. And if I do end up getting my legs waxed, that will definitely be a video, because if people have donated enough money, then they deserve to see me scream like a little bitch.
Exactly. We're going to wrap it up for this week. I think today on my YouTube channel, there was a video released about... it was a video for Paul Mason, and it was about Albert Collins style blues licks. So that was the one I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. It features the Fletcher Blend pickups, in a weird out of phase sound, with a capo somewhere. It's like on the 7th fret or something. It's the strangest thing, but it nails the Albert Collins kind of tone. So yeah, check that out. Matt, do you want to do the rest of our plugs for this week?
Yeah, okay. So if you want to get in touch with any of the hosts of Fret Talk podcast, or the best place to get in touch, ask your questions, get your questions answered on the cast or anything like that, go to facebook.com/ Fret Talk Podcast, or go into search on Facebook for the Fret.
Yeah, I
Fret
think it's
Talk
in the
Podcast
groups.
group.
I don't think we're a slash.
I can't remember, but yeah. So yeah, it's Fret Talk Podcast group. If you want to get in touch with Adam, he is Budget Pedal Chap on Instagram. Budget Pedal Chap on YouTube. Budget Pedal Chap on Facebook.
Yeah. The YouTube, I'm not a slash
you can
guy
search
yet.
Budget Pedal Chap and you'll know it when you find the awesome videos about the Mojo.
That's it. There's only one at the moment. I think I need to do an update on that.
Yeah.
Maybe doing 2 Mojo into a Mojo and see just what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd be well up.
I'm open to suggestions. Like I say, Paul put in a comment asking for some fingerstyle blues licks in the style of Albert Collins. So I went and listened to some Albert Collins and stole one of his licks.
Ace. Yeah. And then if you want to get in touch with me, best place, if you don't want to do it through the Fret Talk group, is at heel_Matt Q on Twitter. Other than that, you can find my band at facebook.com/switchiom. And I think that's everything.
You do another podcast, don't you, Mr. Matt
Oh,
Klein?
I do another podcast. So yeah, if you want to check out me talking about wrestling, then you need to head over to either youtube.com/badbookerswp. On Twitter, we are at badbookerswp. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Zcast, and SoundCloud as Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast. And yeah, it's just us talking about wrestling. There was a host of another guitar podcast that was a guest on our podcast last week. I won't tell you who it is because his podcast gets more listeners than this one. But if you listen to other podcasts and you want to hear the opinions of other guitar podcast people about wrestling, then yeah, you want to listen to last week's Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely do that. I like guitars. I've heard of wrestling.
There you go.
Cool.
There's your in.
So, from myself, Mr. Budget Pedal Chap, from Matt Quine, it's got to be a good night from us today.
Good night from us.
Good night. Tatty bye.
Tatty bye.
Ta-ra a bit.
Good night.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Ta-ra. Ta-ra.
One, two, three. Sausages. Sausages. Yeah, cool. Right, so let's start this bad motherfucker.